How's it going, people? Welcome back to Lead Judges TV. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all fantastic at this weekend. And, of course, this bank holiday, Monday, which has put everybody out of kilt and everyone thinks it's still Saturday or Sunday, I'm sure, don't they, Lead Judges? I hope you're all well in the chat. Great to see you all so soon. Looking forward to this chat tonight. So I thought I'd bring a couple of guests on. Of course, we have Lead Judges, and Lead Judges has said that if we're going to beat Chelsea, Man United and West Ham, he'll take his beanie hat off. And that's what he's done, look. That is what he's done. How are you, mate?
I'm all good. I've had a good weekend, and finished off with Ronnie O'Sullivan, an Essex man, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe an Essex man. Don't get mad. Don't get too over it, Lawless. Don't get over it. He's an Essex man, but he is a massive gooner. And he's done it today, done the business. And,
7 times now, yeah?
7 times, you know what I mean? Like, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Best player ever for me. Best
player,
for me.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so.
Big Ronnie fan, love him. And, congratulations to him. I know he watches the show, so fantastic,
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Lee. We got KC, Super Kevin Campbell on the show. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Still, I'm a bit fed up waiting for Lead Judges to come on. But he's here at least. That's the good part.
I was doing my hair, Kev. I was doing my hair.
Oh, no, I get that. A bit of gel.
I couldn't find the gel like that.
The gel.
I better wet it down.
Oh, all right. Slick back. No, I'm good, Dapper. I'm good, thank you, mate.
Good man. It must be good this weekend with what's happened with Everton and Arsenal. Wow, what a weekend for you, mate. What a weekend for you. Someone who's not had as great of a weekend is Lawless. But Lawless, it's all about Thursday, my man. Thanks for coming back on, man. How you doing?
Do you know what? I did want to just focus on Thursday and forget about what happened yesterday. But, you've asked me to come on. I can't say no to it. So here I am to relive that again. And just wind myself up even more after that game. So,
we love you for it, mate.
Let's do it.
We love you for it. Let's start with Judges. You didn't get down to the game yesterday, Judges, but you obviously watched it. What did you make of that game yesterday, mate? Because I ain't going to lie to you, bro. That first half was very hard to watch, but it got a little bit better in the second half, Judge.
Yeah. First and foremost, I'm going out on Thursday and buy myself some Frankfurters, right? You know what I mean? Because you know who I want to win now, you know what I mean? Frankfurters, loads of onions.
You wanted the 3 points, Lee. You said if you got the 3 points, you'd be sporting West Ham.
I am disgusted with those my friends down there at West Ham, you know what I mean? I'll tell you what, I looked at the team at Spurs, Leicester, 8 changes. I thought, yeah, about right. Expected that. That's what a team that's going for this conference is doing. The team that's going for the Champions League's bound to do this. Oh, no, they don't, do they? Oh, no, they don't. They put out as good as strong a side as they could, maybe Antonio being the only one, And what do? They put on they make us go through the mill, you know what I mean? So, Frankfurt, good luck, my boys. Good luck. All serious. That first half was as poor as it's ever been, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be honest, I don't care. It was a poor performance. I didn't think we played well. I thought second half, by the way, we did. We played really well. I thought Eddie really led the line really, really well. I think we're perhaps going to talk about that a little bit. I know he missed a couple of chances, but I thought his running and his hold-up play was really, really good. But listen, for me, it was all about the result, getting the 3 points. And I'm going to say West Ham made it tough for us. As we expected them to do that. They're a decent side. Pressure on that. I tell you, I didn't enjoy the game, guys. I was sitting there knowing Spurs had won 3-0 and, you know what I mean, banging on the goal difference a bit more, or 3-1, wasn't it, in the end? I didn't watch it, but I'm thinking, this is going to be tough and, but it was nerve-wracking to the end of the game. But ultimately, once we got the 3 points, I'm telling you, I've been buzzing ever since. Been buzzing, Lawless. Been buzzing, my boy.
I wouldn't know what that feels like right now.
No. I hope you're buzzing on Thursday night. I still hope you get to the final and get the Champions League, despite David Moyes being a David Moyes.
KC, let's come to you, man. This was always going to be tough because West Ham are who they are this season, but I was a bit like Lee, bit surprised with the team lineup, if I'm honest. Didn't expect to see Rice and Jared Bowen playing. Expected to see a few more rested. So I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be tougher than I was hoping. And it was in the first half. Second half, like Lee said, we picked it up. And I think I wanted to ask you on a few of the players that came in. Ben White with a tight hamstring. Rob Holding coming in and had a good game. El Neni kept his place and I thought was solid in there. And for me, KC, a lot of credit has to go to Eddie up top because as much as he was at times a little bit frustrating with his clinical finishing, I thought he worked really hard, Casey. I really did.
Yeah, I'll start with the back. I think Rob Holding coming in, deputising, obviously doing I thought he done a sterling job, considering he hasn't played a lot of football, has he? Let's be fair, he doesn't play a lot of football, but he comes in and we want him. We want him to hit the ground running. His defensive work was excellent. Obviously, got the first goal, which was a well-worked set piece. We were covering the game I was covering the game for Premier League Productions yesterday, and we really zeroed in on the corner. And they really worked that position really well. He shed the block. I think Lanzini was picking him up, which is a mismatch. And he goes in and gets ahead on it. I want to say a bit about Tomiyasu. Good to get Tomiyasu back on the pitch.
Yeah.
Get him back playing, get some minutes in his legs as well. I thought he'd done okay.
Yeah.
But first off, it was like a training match. It really was, West Ham didn't want to overexert themselves. Obviously, because whether they like it or not, the players don't want to get injured and they got one eye on Thursday. Arsenal didn't look like they wanted to really go for it. And it didn't really take off until, we scored and then West Ham came on. I thought West Ham got a good goal, although it was a little bit fortuitous. But second half, I thought we came into it a little bit more. Another set piece, obviously, score. But I thought Eddie was outstanding up top. The thing that Eddie's got that Lacazette hasn't, he's got a bit more speed. And he could spin off in them channels. And even though Zuma's quick, he still can get on the end of things. There was open spaces over the top, and he was running into space really well. I thought he played really well.
He had some strength, Kev, as well. His strength was good, I thought, yesterday.
Yeah, again, because he seems to be getting a bit of confidence. He's played a few games now. The confidence is starting to come. He's starting to link play. He's starting to run channels, etc. But the one thing that we really needed from him was his finishing boots. And he just didn't seem to have them yesterday. He could have put it out of sight. But you know what? We take the win. We do take the win. But it was a little bit like all hands to the pump come the end.
Yeah, absolutely it was. I'm going to come to Lee and Kevin in a minute with some of these incidents. Let's break this down a bit, Lawless. In your opinion, why do you feel so hard done by as a West Ham fan yesterday? Dan Lawless, the floor is yours, sir.
Look, it's as simple as the challenge from Ramsdale that he makes towards Bowen. Yes, there's no contact, but that is just a disgraceful challenge for me. What he's doing is studs up, knee high, flying in, reckless, out of control. The guy's got a European semi-final on Thursday, and he could have been out for God knows how long with that challenge. Bowen has to dive out the way. He has to. He's even said it. Yeah, I dived out to get out of the way of the challenge. How he's booked Bowen for diving, again, diving out of the way and diving to gain an advantage are two different things. And if you look on it and there's precedent for it, you do not have to make contact for it to be a foul. In fact, when the rule says it's an indirect free kick if you make a dangerous challenge, even if it doesn't make contact. Xhaka, as you guys will all remember, got sent off for his challenge against Man City that did not make contact, but was deemed dangerous play. He got a red card. So I'm there screaming, going, oh my gosh, send him off, send him off. Then they get a yellow out. I'm like, oh my God, what? It's only a yellow. And then I come to find it's Bowen. And I'm losing my mind. And then from the free kick that Arsenal get off that, it goes up the other end, goes out for a corner. That corner leads to the goal. Then we have, I think it's the second goal now. What's his Holding, I believe it was. Handball. Puts his arm up. Ball comes off of his hand. then gets headed in. It's those decisions. I'm not saying like, oh, West Ham, we should have won. Come on, Lee. That's what VAR needed. Where was VAR was switched off? I didn't even. Do you know what? They must have just said, do you know what, VAR, take a night off. I know it's Mike Dean, but where the hell is the VAR? We just going, oh, it's Mike. We don't want to overturn any Mike's decisions. He's finishing this season. Let him have a season without VAR. That's what it was like. And I'm not saying, oh, West Ham, we should have won that. Look, draw probably would have been a fair result. But once Arsenal get that second goal, I know West Ham. We can't break teams down. If teams want to be compact, and our counter-attacking is slow enough as it is, but we can't break teams down. And Arsenal did so well to keep their shape and not give us any space or time, in your half. And it was just that was it. I just knew it was a foregone conclusion at that point because you weren't really gonna overcommit. Like I said, you had them balls over the top to Eddie, who's got the pace, but you weren't really committing numbers at that point. But yeah, just that's why I feel aggrieved. Those two decisions were massive, absolutely massive. And the Ramsdale, man, I'm sorry, I don't like that guy. No, I don't like that guy, honestly. I really.
Why? Because he's good. Is that what it is?
He's good. He's good, but he's not as good as you lot make him out to be, is he?
Well, I've got to say, judges, I'm going to ask you this. Hold that thought, Dan, because I think it's a good one. So this is my opinion on Aaron Ramsdale's performances of late. I don't want him to do this, but he's starting to turn into a little bit of a Wojciech Szczesny. Do you remember when Szczesny come in, Lee, and he was quality, and we thought, wow, this guy looks like he's going to be number one for ages. Then he got cocky and he started doing stupid mistakes. That was a rush of blood to the head for me for Aaron Ramsdale, and I understand why Lawless feels hard done by there. Don't know what your thoughts are, Lee, on that particular challenge from Ramsdale, but I don't know what he's doing there. He's completely madness, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was probably his best performance in a little while. Like I do think he has got a little bit cocky, like playing to the crowd at times. Like, you know what I mean? You're a goalkeeper, like know your place. That's what I say at the end of the day. You know, it's not all about Aaron Ramsdale. It's about keeping clean sheets. He hasn't kept one for a while. You know what I mean? If I'll be honest, not his fault, but I just think there's been a few little things. Made a great save in the first half. I think it was from Declan Rice. But yeah, I think we give away the ball cheaply, you know, and then I'm thinking, what's he doing out there? Like, you know, listen, I don't think it's a sending off offence, even if he hits him. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it's more like a booking. But for me, I totally agree. I don't think Bowen should have been booked for it neither. I don't think he done anything really wrong. I don't think he dived to take an advantage or anything like that. I just think really he would just carry on with the game. I don't think it was that bad a thing. Like, you know, I've heard the word clutching at straws many a times, but that is what I'm thinking here. Like, you know,
Lee, come on, Lee.
There was nothing really too wrong with it. I don't think he should have been coming up at that. Like, you know, listen, is it dangerous? It could have been that, but you know, there's plenty more things that are dangerous than that. You know, I think there's a little bit of frustration from West Ham's point of view. You know, because the result didn't go their way and things like that. But ultimately, I didn't really see too much about it. But I'm a little bit concerned about how way we're defending at the minute. Like, I'm going to say that, not just from Ramsdale. I thought Gabriel was poor yesterday. I have to say that. Like, you know, I know he scored, but I'm looking at him as a defender. You know, it's getting goals is a bonus. Do your job properly. I don't think he's dwelling on the ball too much. You know, there was just before they scored, he was dwelling on it instead of just clearing his. With 3, by the way, they score 45 minutes with a minute to go. We're dwelling on the ball and all that. Like, I'm sorry. Get it out, you know. I was talking whether it was the fact, you know, get them turning, get it in the channel, get them turning. Like, you know, there's a minute to go in a half. You know what I mean? Manage it properly, and I think that Aaron Ramsdale.
Lee, I thought the whole left-hand side was poor, mate. I thought Tavares, Martinelli, Gabriel. I thought that it was just. I think we're missing Kieran Tierney, mate, massively, and it showed. I mean, I know Tavares. A lot of people were slating Arteta for dropping him. It hasn't exactly been the decision where he's come back in now, and you think, why has he dropped him? He's quality. There is some decisions there now as to, is he going to be our left back backup going forward? Because he is a little positionally, and his ill discipline, I think, is poor. I think on the ball going forward, I don't think he's a bad player at all, and I just think he's a winger. I don't think he's a left back, a defender. So I think that's affected Gabriel. I really do.
Can
Well,
I
maybe I
ask
think
you,
we're going to have to get someone in there.
Kevin, about the Bowen challenge? I just want to get your thoughts, just as Akko, as someone, if you're in that situation, ball's played over the top, you're on an attack, you see a keeper flying at you, studs up, knee high. What's your sort of process?
See a midget? See a midget? Is that camera knee high?
It was. I've seen the picture. There's a picture. It was. It went up. It sort of went up.
Kev, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Kev.
You're on mute, Kev. How unprofessional is that?
I
How
covered it.
unprofessional is that?
I covered it on PLP, and I thought it was a disgraceful challenge. If I'm honest, I thought, what are you doing, Ramsdale? He should have been there way before Bowen. The problem, what happened was he moved late, and when you're moving late, you got to move late, and he's starting to move fast, and he lunges. Now, it was a dangerous challenge if he caught him. The lucky part was he didn't make contact. That's the lucky part. Now, the fact of the matter was, Bowen didn't dive to get out of the way. Bowen was already at the ball, but he thought he was going to make contact. That's why he went down. That's why I believe the referee booked him. I don't think it was a booking. He should have just, fair enough, give a free kick or whatever and get on with the game. But I think the booking was an insult. But this is a problem sometimes with Ramsdale. Now he's starting to feel too cocky, thinks he's the man, and he's starting to make rash decisions, and I don't like it. I want him to. Fair enough, he could balloon with the crowd now and again, but do your job. He's got to do his job.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on. And I thought it was madness that they booked Jarrod Bowen, I ain't going to lie. As I see it, I was there, I see it, and obviously it was up the other end to me, and I thought, he's gone. He's a goner. Like, you can't do that. Absolutely, he's a goner. And when he got a yellow card like Lawless, I went, got away with one there. And it was Bowen. I couldn't believe it either, if I'm honest with you. Madness. But this is Mike Dean, and this is VAR, and this is what happens, unfortunately, Lawless. But I still stand by it. Why was he on the pitch in the first place? He could have been cropped and out for Thursday, mate. So there you go. That's David Moyes.
I was shocked as you, and I know, like, obviously Lee said he weren't happy when he see the lineup. The only thing I can think of is obviously we didn't play the likes of Bowen or Rice against Chelsea, but I look at it and he probably thinks, it's a home game. We've only got one more home game after that. He don't want us getting completely turned over at home, and we've got to put some sort of decent team. Obviously, we rested Souček, we rested Antonio. We had to play, a formation we don't play too often, that back five, because we have Dawson out on a red card. Look, we was also, as West Ham fans, surprised as you, and we was thinking, geez, if the player gets injured today, it's a disaster. And Moyes has took a gamble there to try and get something, because I think Moyes has seen that after that Frankfurt game, we don't want, if we go out, we want to still try and get Europe. So that's where we can't just put all of our eggs in that basket now, because we've literally got one game where we're coming from behind to save it. And I think that's what he was looking to do that game. So risky, but I can understand. Thankfully, no injuries. And thankfully, Bowen did avoid that, as much as I'm annoyed about the things that happened. But the most important thing is that he's okay. No harm's come to him, and it's all on Thursday.
Yeah, it really is all on Thursday. Kev, Lawless was a bit annoyed about the Rob Holding situation. Obviously, he'd scored, but also for the second goal, there was a potential handball Maradona type-esque. What did you make of that? Do you think that was harsh? Do you think it was a handball, or is Lawless clutching at straws?
Well, we covered this as well. And listen, we've seen these given as a free kick, and we've seen them just let go as well. So, if I'm honest, I don't know what the rules are anymore. Yeah. Who knows what the rules are?
They change
because
time, didn't they?
In a different game, somebody will get away with the same thing, or somebody won't. So I don't know what the rules are. The fact of the matter is, he went up for a header. Yeah, the ball did come off his arm, and then there's another phase. That the key for West Ham was they fell asleep. Gabriel, the big centre half, peels off to the back post, and everybody's ball watching, and then Gabriel Martinelli picks him out of the back stick, big centre half, all alone, heading in the 6-yard box. Great for us, but I'm sure David Moyes, it's a poor goal for West Ham to concede.
At Fabianski's near post as well, honestly.
Well, but there's nothing he could do because he's at the mercy, isn't he? He could head it anywhere.
Yeah.
So, he could go low, he couldn't go high. Fabianski just got to try and make himself as big as possible. He heads it straight at him. There's nothing he can do. But again, I've seen those given, Dan, and I've seen them not given. So, again, you asked me about VAR. I have no clue what VAR is doing. I have no clue what referees are doing. It is what it is, mate. It is what it is. I'm telling you. It's sad for West Ham, but good for us.
Yeah, man, it's not been good for us at certain weeks, as we all know as well. So we got away with one this weekend. Judges, let's come back to you, man. Let's talk about the midfield battle, because Declan Rice and Mark Noble are in there. I expected to see Souček instead of Rice, but so be it. But I've got to talk about our midfield, because at the start I thought Granit Xhaka was having an absolute mare. The whole of that left-hand side was. Every ball he was passing was going to someone else. Second half, him and El Neni picked it up, and I thought they were both brilliant. And in a way, controlled that midfield, and I think was massively, or a big reason as to why we were creating a lot of chances. This Xhaka El Neni situation, it makes you wonder why Arteta didn't do it a little bit sooner, because it's working wonders at the moment.
Yeah, he should have done it against The big mistake that Arteta made was when he took Xhaka out in the midfield against Brighton, was not put El Neni in there as well, because El Neni has been outstanding. Not so much in the first half, weren't really his sort of game, but in the second half, really stepped up to the plate. I'm going to say this now, and whether people like it or not, I don't care. Granit Xhaka, if it weren't for him the last 3 games, we would not be where we are now. I know that he's cost us Champions League football on a couple of occasions. He's the one driving us to Champions League football at the moment. I thought his second half performance was as good as what I've seen. Declan Rice, Declan who? Like, you know what I mean? Like, couldn't get near him. Like, shimmies and little turns past him and all that. I thought Declan was like thinking about Frankfurt on Thursday night, because it was that he was, or Granit was that good, like, you know what I mean? But I thought in the second half...
El Neni's been good as well last few games.
They was brilliant in the second half, absolutely brilliant. They complement each other quite well, to be fair, like, El Neni's pass, by the way, for Eddie, for that great little run from Eddie. He cut in, went out again, great run. Power pass Zuma, who's obviously, like, been out for a couple of weeks, but... and then got the shot. And that was the one I was disappointed with him, because he put it wide. The second one he done, I thought Fabianski made a good save. But I think them two and them have been really, really good. But listen, what I just want to go back to saying there, like, when Arsenal, I'm going to say this now. Sitting there at half time, I couldn't think of one player. Probably Ramsdale was the only one that I could say done okay in that first half. Not one. But all the criticism comes on Tavares. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's having a bad game. It was all of them, but he seems to get, a little bit more stick than everybody else. But I think, and this is where I'm going to credit Mikel Arteta. I think he said something at half time, like, had a little bit of a rollicking at him, like, because that wasn't accepted. That was going back to performances of the past that cost us. I think that they went in there on half time there. I think got a rollicking, come up, stepped up the place, and I think that it starts in that midfield battle, because I think that you've got to win that midfield battle, and I think that we done that in the second half, like, and also, what's that Declan Rice going up to old Eddie for, giving it right at the end there, like, you know what I mean? Who's he think he is, old Declan, like, you know what I mean? Like,
come on,
he's been hanging around Hornchurch too long, the boy, like, you know what I mean? Instead of his roots, trying to bully our Eddie, like, But seriously, like, I thought that Xhaka and El Neni really did take the game up a notch in the second half. And I'm going to say this: I thought Tavares played very well second half. I know that he couldn't get no worse, could he? Like, but I thought he did. He did try and get through it in the second half. But I think it's something now we've got to address. And my big worry is that we finished that game with only one of our first choice defenders. If you look at that, we had Cedric playing, Tavares playing, Holding playing. I know Holding done really, really well, and Gabriel. We've got to get our players back in there, and I think that decision is key. I don't know so much at the home game. Like, listen, Leeds are come there on Sunday, and they give it a go no matter what. So I think, maybe we've got to just be a little bit more tightened at the back. Certainly against Tottenham, I think that it's going to be a real interesting. Do we go with a back? I think against Spurs away from home, I'd go with a back three just to just cover that up a little bit. I don't know, especially with Holding playing really, really well. But
I don't know.
Or make the decision. You know what I mean? Bring Cedric in. Cedric, by the way, that come in when it was a really important 10, 15 minutes there and done really well. I think that's sort of gone under the radar, if I'll be honest. But I think a couple of real difficult decisions for Mikel now, because I'm going to say a bit of magic for the goal, for the cross and that, but Martinelli was poor as well. All game, he was off. His touch was off. Everything like. And I'm a massive Martinelli fan. These next couple of games, we cannot carry passengers. We cannot do it.
Listen to all this. What matters at this stage of the season? We're there worrying about performance. It's about results.
Yeah, it is. I know, but
yeah, we didn't play well. But you know what? We've played a lot better and lost.
Yes, I agree.
And we've played better and lost. So do you know what? We take it. Getting over the line is so important, especially as the pressure was on. We are away from home. It's a London derby. It didn't kick off till the second half, but we got over the line. That's the name of the game now, guys. What is it? 4 games, 3 games to go? 4 games to go. There are now. It's about results.
2 home, 2 away.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is 100%. It is. It's about the 3. Well, that game certainly was about the 3 points because of Tottenham and we'd known what they'd done before. So it was like we had to win this one. So we got it. Casey, let's stay with you. Lee's talked about a few players there. One thing I'm noticing at the moment is the lack of substitutions in certain areas of the pitch. Now I know that it wasn't exactly a 4-0 game, so it wasn't exactly bring on who you want. But I do sit and wonder sometimes why we don't try to utilise Nicolas Pepe a little bit more. I know people take the mick and say, Dan loves Pepe. It's not that I love Pepe. I just think I don't really understand where his role is at the moment this season. He's getting literally... Say again?
He hasn't got one.
This is what I mean. And do you think that's a bit harsh, KC, or is it just me?
Dan, listen. Here's one thing I will say. We can't argue with what's been going on of late because the team have performed. Smith Rowe, Bob Martinelli, he's down the pecking order. Pepe is. Because the first one off that bench, if you're kind of thinking of changing a wide player, is Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
So unless Saka goes down and Martinelli you change both of them, I think that's the only way Pepe comes on, if I'm honest with you. Mikel Arteta doesn't trust him. We did say, I think it was around Christmas time, that the next 6 months, we're going to find out if he has a future at Arsenal. I don't think he's got a future at Arsenal, Dan, if I'm honest with you.
Do you think he's been managed well, though? Because I'm not saying he deserved to come on because obviously it was 2-1 and we needed to be defending at times. But I just don't think he's been very well treated, if I'm honest, by the manager. Now, he might not be doing it on the training pitch. I don't know. I don't look at training. But when the numbers stack up that he's scoring more goals and he's assisting and he's creating, I just don't think bringing him on for 10 minutes is really fair. So
Kev, what would you do then, Dan? What would you do?
I'd be trying to utilise him in a different way personally because I still think there's a player in there. And when we are needing goals, I'll be bringing him on. So, for example, the Southampton, Palace and Brighton games, he was getting 10 minutes, 20 here and there when we were needing goals. I'd like to have seen over that period of time maybe a little bit of change up. So when Lacazette weren't performing, let's bring Pepe on that left-hand side, put Martinelli through the middle and maybe Saka on the right and give him a little bit more time. I don't think bringing him on 10 minutes to go when we're 3-0 down is really fair on the lad personally. Just think he's been mistreated as opposed to the others. I've seen Lacazette stink the house out for about 6 weeks in a row and Pepe's not. But he's still coming. He's the one coming on still. I just don't think he's been treated right. And not only him, there's other players I think he's mismanaged in the past. I just think that it's clear to me he doesn't rate him. In my opinion, I look at him and think
trust him.
He's not your guy. He's not your guy, is he? At all.
And
I don't think
him.
he is.
You don't trust him, and there's the difference there. It's not that you don't. Is Pepe talented? 100%, he is talented. but the manager doesn't trust him. Why? Because he hasn't done it enough for him. That's what I think. Smith Rowe has done it this season. Saka's done it this season. Martinelli's done it this season. And let's be honest, Lacazette actually has made them better players. Even though Lacazette hasn't been great, he has done enough up the top end of the pitch to help those youngsters and to help them get into position. The problem is there's probably, what is it, 5 players? And he's the 5th. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I do agree. I think he should be at the moment. I don't think he should be getting ahead of those players, but I do think there's a substitution there which I think could be a threat from the bench, and I just think he's coming on, if at all, for 10 minutes, and I just think that we can do more there. Lee, what's your opinions on that? Do you think he's just done now and we won't see him again, Pepe?
100%, 100% done. Don't get a look in. I've said it all along. For whatever reason, you know. And football, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. You know, you either fancy someone or you don't. He just doesn't. It doesn't mean to say he's not a good player. It's just that Mikel doesn't fancy him. Like, you know, I don't think that performance was it when he come on, and I can't remember when, and he had a real poor performance. I can't remember, was it Leicester or something? He come on as a sub about 10 minutes ago, and he was at Villa, wasn't it? He was absolutely awful when he came. That's the last time he's got any minutes, by the way.
Gave that free kick away, didn't he, in the last minute?
He was shocking. But I also remember the game against Wolves when we was down and out. He come on, him and Eddie, and he got the result. I think he's one of those. But like when you watch that game against Aston Villa and you 1-0 up or 2-1 up against West Ham, you don't need Pepe coming on. What do you need him to come on for? Like, you know what I mean? When you're losing, that's when you're going to be looking to chuck him on. So. And then you've got the problem is that, you know, he's sitting there week in, week out, and if, right, I'm going to come on and save you now, and, you know, who knows? I don't know. But it looks like he's got a good attitude and not been that bad in the thing. But ultimately, I agree with Kev. He's just got no future. While Mikel Arteta's at this football club, he's got no future at it. He might as well like.
You're going to make a massive loss, isn't you, on him? £75 million. Jeez, like.
Yeah, well, we'll get 20 million back, like, you know what I mean? So, and if we can get it in instalments, probably, you know what I mean? So,
it's been a waste, hasn't it?
It was a joke signing. I remember. People going mad about Pepe, and I honestly said this, like, you know what I mean? Why are everybody going mad about him? I've never seen him play. You know what I mean? He's, you know, the one person that Arsenal should have gone for the same price, Zaha. That was who they should have gone and got. You know what I mean? Like, and so the powers that be at Arsenal, yes, take the hitting on it and learn from it, because I tell you what, it was poor business from Arsenal. Like, go and get someone. What we actually got was, you know, like the real deal, or possibly could be the real deal. You know what I mean? No one knew, like, you know what I mean? It was a gamble. It's not one it's not paid off. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you something now, Dan, and I'll tell you this now. If Zaha was at the club, he wouldn't be playing a bit part player. He wouldn't be a bit part player. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. So
I think that's the change in the hierarchy, Lee, as well, because Emery wanted Zaha and got given Pepe. This hierarchy was different back then. Husfami and Raul, they weren't about this, what we're seeing now. So, and you know what, Lee, and I'll say this, and I know you think I love him and all that. I don't blame Pepe for him being 72 million. I blame Arsenal for that, because, Pepe's, it's not Pepe's fault, is it?
And at the end of the day, listen, he's a great player. He's got great skills and all that, like. But he's never. I tell you what, if you're a manager, if you've got a big name player, I'll tell you what, if that was Arteta's player, right? If Arteta was at that club and he paid £72 million for him, right? He'd be trying every role, every position to try and get him into the team, like, you know what I mean? But it's not his player, so he's got not that loyalty towards him and whatever, like, because I tell you what, if you've got a real talent like he is, try him in a different position, try him here, try him there. He doesn't. He just plays him wide right or sub, wide right and sub. Never puts him on the left hand side, giving him a go there. I still go back to that game against Leeds when he got sent off. He really tore into him. When Xhaka and anybody else does it, didn't tear into them. I just feel that he just, for whatever reason, doesn't want him there, doesn't rate him. And that's it, you know. And when he goes off to the Ivory Coast, the manager gets a bit of a tune out of him.
Yeah, no, you're right. They do.
Hold on a minute, guys. Are you guys telling me that he hasn't had a chance? He's been
No.
no. So
I'm not saying that.
let's get it straight. Nicola Pepe has had more opportunities in this team than
Right, I'll give you.
most. He
I'll
hasn't
give
done
you.
it.
Well, I disagree a little bit there. Like, I'm not his greatest
Yeah, I
fan.
do.
But
Where do you disagree?
right,
Then?
I'll tell you, like, you know what I mean. Like, if you give me the chance, you know what I mean. Like, you know, so So this is what I'm saying. FA Cup final run, played really, really well. What was his reward after the FA Cup final?
Signed Willian.
Signed Willian, and he took his place. So I just feel, you know, I do feel he's had
hold on.
chances.
That's not it. He played after that.
Yeah, but that was the chance for him to just really play. That was the chance for him to go, right, you're my guy now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what it's like. If this is still my guy, you've done this well.
Has he been given a run of games this season, Casey? Like, honestly, because he hasn't. When? Tell me.
He has played earlier on this season. Nicola Pepe has played earlier on this season. He hasn't done it. The bottom line.
I'm with Kevin. I don't think he's done enough.
The bottom line is this,
Oh,
guy.
he changes tune now.
No, the
I'm
bottom
saying
line.
back
The
in the
flip flop,
first-
though, ain't you got to expect that. But hey, listen. For me, when I look at it, it's about production. If you are playing in this Arsenal team, you've got to produce. The youngsters have done it. Smith Rowe's on double figures. Saka's on double figures.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
They've played hard. They've tracked. They've done all the work. When Pepe plays, for me, this is what I see. I just see a drop off. Does he have wonderful talent? 100%. I can't doubt his talent. I can't. But he doesn't take the team to the next level. And what is it? It is his third season. So we can't say that he hasn't. He's had good games. He scored what is it, 16 goals last season.
Yeah, that was my main point really was,
you know,
he hasn't done it this year, but I don't think he's been given the time, in my opinion. But he has played games, but I don't think he's been given a run of games. I think he's dumped out all the time, and I just think that's a little bit harsh.
I'll tell you something truthful, right? And this is it really in a nutshell, like, yeah. 12 weeks ago, maybe even longer than that, like, you know, I mean, 3 months ago, just say 3 months ago, Eddie turned around and said, I'm not getting enough game time here, like, I'm off, like, you know. Since that, right, Eddie has got more minutes than Pepe. And he's leaving at the end of the season. So if you're giving a player that's good, you're giving a player more minutes, who, you know, arguably is he good enough or not? The jury's still out on him. You know what I mean? Like, if I'll be honest, but he's been given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and he's leaving at the end of the season, and he's not been given. Pepe's not been given those chances. So I do feel that he's not being given a fair crack at the whip, but I don't think he's justified himself in times. But as someone just said in the chat, look at last season. I think towards the end of last season, he scored in the 3 or 4 games. But I will go back to that. It didn't matter. Season was done. You know.
And there's a lot I agree. There's a lot I agree with both of you with, and also essentially I agree with Kev. The manager don't like him, so he ain't going to play him. Yeah. So he's done. He's done at the club, basically.
Not as Kevin, by the sound of it.
Listen, I like Pepe. I think he's a talented player.
Yeah, he is talented.
He's just the wrong fit at Arsenal under Arteta.
Yeah.
No, I think that is it in a nutshell. That is in a nutshell. Lawless, let's come to you, man, because you played us twice now, and you've not been convinced. You've not been convinced by Mikel this season. Yeah. And some of your question marks have been similar to my question marks in terms of being convinced by this project and by Mikel Arteta. But actually, when you've played us twice now, do you think you've seen a different side to this Arsenal team in terms of mentality, aggression, leadership, and some kind of winning ugly? Because certainly the weekend game, I saw a little bit of that, which perhaps I haven't seen before. So what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, I definitely think you're, and I think a lot, probably our sides will be happy with that, a nastier side. A side that, you know, under the Wenger days, it was all about playing good football the right way, Now it's more about winning by any means necessary type thing. I'm not, it's certain things of gamesmanship. When you need to maybe see out a game, waste a bit of time, use those sort of things. Maybe you need to shut up shop. It's, it's more of you can look at it and you've got to commend it in a way of tactical and strategically. He hasn't got the team probably to go out and be like the Wenger years, attack, free-flowing football. So he's gone and... But it's horrible to play against Arsenal, and that's probably a compliment to you lot. It's horrible. It's just really frustrating, and a lot of your players are dislikable for it. And that's music to your ears, because when other fans don't like your players, they're doing something right. You got to say it. I was fuming, like, honestly, I was raging, like, this guy's shit, and get him off. And and Arteta, right, he's there on the touchline giving it all this and that, and he'll be there instructing players, stay down, don't get up, just stay there, waste that time and things like that. You look at the Watford flipping throw-in that he did, that madness antics where he comes in comes out of his technical area and quick kick, take the throw-in, like literally any means necessary. This guy will use the dark arts. I said to you, Arsenal fans won't like this, but I said to Dan, I said, you're like a fancier Burnley. That's what it is. It's like a Waitrose Burnley is what I see with this Arsenal side. But it's working. My question mark is, how long will that work for? Is that enough to take Arsenal where you want to be consistently in the Champions League and
competing for titles?
Is that Waitrose Burnley style gonna work against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, the Real Madrids, this, that, and the other? That's my question marks. But yeah, something has changed.
Kev, you've been laughing throughout that, man. I'm gonna let you come in, Kev. Let you come in, Kev. Let you come in, Kev.
Lawless, I gotta say, I absolutely love Waitrose Burnley. You got to remember, one thing you got to remember, Lawless, you're playing the baby team. You're playing a team of babies, the youngest team in the league.
Well, I mean,
and they're challenging for a Champions League, so it's only going to get better. Playing without a striker, a recognised striker.
The Arabs next year.
I'm telling you, Lawless. You're seeing the re-emergence of Arsenal. You've got to, because Arsenal always usually have a main striker. We ain't got one. We haven't got one.
Don't you feel like, even when you had Aubameyang, people used to call him Tapas Pulis, was his nickname, like from the moment that you did get it, because under Emery you was banging in goals week in, week out. Even Wenger, obviously, it was your defense that was a problem, but now you seem to be a little bit more defensive minded, scoring less goals since Arteta's come in. So don't you think that maybe even when you did have the players, it was more of a sense of Arteta's style and philosophy?
Well, I think, look, it's either you do it one of two ways. It's either you start building from the front to the back, or you build from the back to the front.
Yeah.
What we've been doing, we're building from the back to the front. Now, Look what we've done. We've got rid of a load of players, high earners. We've got the kids in. We've got Lacazette as a striker who's leaving at the end of the season. Eddie's going at the end of the season. So we've got maybe half a striker. Let's be honest. We've got half a striker. It's got that bad. People are having arguments whether Martinelli, who's a winger, and Pepe, who's a winger, should be playing at number 9. Arsenal having no strikers. That's not right. So that will be addressed in the summer. And we're going to be a different kettle of fish. This squad has to get an upgrade in the summer. And if we get that Champions League spot, Lawless, watch out. Tell you, these kids are mustard.
I'll tell you what. Also, it's great, isn't it? Like, because I've got messages on here from West Ham Paul after that game. Like, I cannot repeat them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I bet you can't.
I cannot put them on here, like, and I love it. I love it, like, you know what I mean? Arsenal are upsetting people and that's great. And I totally agree with what Dan's saying there. Like, you know, that let's take that as a compliment because we're upsetting people. That means we're doing something good, like, you know, and we haven't done that for a while.
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
see a bit more of a resemblance to like more like George Graham years of Arsenal than maybe like the Wenger years? Do you see?
Yeah, I do.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take
Lawless.
that. Yeah,
I'll take that. I tell you,
I don't think we're there. I don't think we're that good yet, if I'm honest. But
Yeah, but in
there's
terms of
there's similarities though. There's similarities.
attributes are
in the way
there.
things are
Attributes
done.
are there. Yeah, similarities are there. But I don't think. I mean, you're comparing Arteta to a legend. Let's be honest, and he's not there yet, Arteta. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Well,
I can see where you go.
When he first come in, Dan weren't you know, like I can be really honest.
No, but he's
about
not
it.
comparing
When
him
he
to
first-
George Graham when he first come in, is he? He's comparing him to George Graham, but like the legend
No,
George
well,
Graham.
when he first come in,
and things like that.
with George Graham, we was linked with, I tell you what, Terry Venables and Johan Cruyff, right? We got, you know what I mean? We got George Graham, you know
From
what I mean?
Millwall.
Like, from Millwall, like, you know what I mean? Bloody, like, you know, like, there was I'm not saying, you know, Twitter would have gone mad.
Tell it. Yeah,
Can you
there was a
imagine
load
Twitter?
of fans
Yeah.
not happy. There was a load of fans not happy.
Well,
with that
Kev,
one.
what do you think? Because you played under George. Like, do you see similarities with Mikel Arteta?
Yeah, I do. I see the team has got a togetherness. And you know what? It's hard to win. You reckon going to West Ham's easy? We're going to West Ham with
Yeah.
this side.
Tough.
They're not easy. David Moyes knows he needs to play most of his boys for them to for it to be competitive. So he puts Rice in. He takes the risk, and he's trying to get something out of the game, which is fair enough. I've got no problem with that. But the sign of any good side, we always say, is when you don't play well and you can nick a result. This young Arsenal side are learning on the job, but you know what? They're learning very fast. First half weren't good enough. They stepped it up a little bit second half. Yeah, we got a break here and there, but you know what? The key is when you do get your noses in front again, do not concede. And we didn't concede. We sat deep. We smothered West Ham a little bit, and we had Eddie, who ain't even a first choice striker, who was causing a lot of problems. So again, I think they're doing the right things. Now we know there's 4 games to go. We need to be smart and flexible how we operate. But the top 4's there for us. We're in pole position, especially with could be a defining weekend coming up.
No,
You know, I
massive,
said to
absolutely
Dan
massive.
earlier, didn't I, Dan, about if and this is crazy to say this for me because when we signed him, I thought, what are we doing? If we had Craig Dawson for that game, I don't believe we lose that game because we don't concede those 2 goals because he is the guy that you want when set pieces are coming in and he's heading away.
Lanzini was marking, wasn't he? Instead, Lanzini was the guy.
Lanzini,
Shouldn't have
5
got sent off then, should have he? Shouldn't have got sent off then, should have he?
You know, you're going to be starting on referee decisions. That's sending off as well. That wound me up, and then it just comes
Keep
out.
poking, judges. Go on.
He knows what
Poke
he's
the
doing.
bear.
He knows
They've
what he's
upset me, those hammers. They've upset me, like voicemails and voice notes and whatever, like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not having it, like, you know. I can't wait to see how West Ham Portmore.
West Ham
Can't wait to
forward,
see,
yeah.
like, you know.
Well, let's see.
no,
Let's
like,
see, man.
I get that, but you know, look, injuries and suspensions happen all the time, and I think Dawson's been a fantastic signing for West Ham.
Yeah,
You know what
I
mean?
do,
And
actually.
yes,
He
I
has
think he's
been
been
good.
a real revelation for him, but he wasn't there. You know, they still had big players at the back there that could defend. You know, West Ham, by the way, ain't been that great defending corners. They've been very, very good at scoring them. I'll give them that. Like, you know what I mean? But I just think, like, you know, like you just have to listen. I think West Ham put a strong side out yesterday, and it just didn't happen for them. Like, you know, and but you know.
But as well, judges, I understand what Lawless is saying. I get what Lawless is saying.
I don't care
right?
what
I
Lawless
understand.
is saying. We've got
No, I get
players
it.
out. Don't
I
worry.
get it, but no, listen,
Don't go down his
'cause
level.
I
I
get it.
know why Kobe gets
No.
out with him now.
No. I get why Lawless is annoyed, but what he's failed to remember is we've got no striker. Kieran Tierney's out, Partey's out, Ben White's out, Tommy Yasu's half fit. So it ain't all about
All right,
Craig Dawson's out.
you're still got players to come in to play in those positions that are naturally fit for those positions. We had to play 2 fullbacks.
Yeah, I get that.
Alongside Zuma because
There was a January transfer window. Just reminding you of that,
we've had Diop who's just come back from injury. We've got Obonna out, Dawson suspension. Zuma's not even fully fit. He's only just come back from injury, probably rushed back. And so we're like you said, we dropped the ball massively in January. And up front, we had no striker up front as well because Antonio was on the bench, and he's not even a proper striker. He's a winger who's been converted. So
no, I don't start all that now. Come on,
it's true.
Don't start all that. He's
Bowen looks a decent player up there.
Yeah, go on, yeah, violins. I love it. I love it. Violins.
You guys at least had players playing in their proper positions today. In your normal setup. That's what I'm saying. When you're talking about we had this player out and that player out, it's like, yeah, but you've got left back at left back. You've got right
can
back.
I ask you a question, please?
Yeah, go on. Okay. So.
Who would you rather, Antonio up top or Nketiah up top?
Do you know what? Right now, the way bloody Antonio is playing.
Don't give me that. You'd have
Come
Antonio.
on, Lawless. Who would you prefer up top?
Yeah, well, Antonio, but he was on the bench.
So don't tell me that he's a winger, a playing striker.
Yeah,
come off it.
How dare you say that, like you know what I mean?
But he's a natural winger.
He started there, but he's done a fantastic job for West Ham.
He's been great.
But I think he lacks those instincts that a striker will have a lot of the time. And there's so many times where he will drift out wide when you want him in the middle, ready for those crosses, and he's the one putting them in. And you're like, "What are you doing? You're a striker. You're the guy the best header of the ball that we have in the team." And he'll constantly drift out. I think he's been overplayed. I think he's been dealt a bad hand by not bringing it back up. Yeah. Ultimately,
I'll tell you what, Eddie would do a job for West Ham now, then, wouldn't he? Like, because I thought he may have produced a really good performance yesterday. Maybe he was thinking West Ham.
Would you have him, Dan? Would you have him, Lawless?
I went right off him with that play acting and all that business he was doing and time wasting. And, Moyes at that.
You'd love that at West Ham. You'd love him doing that.
Do you know what? This is the problem. Sometimes I feel like, as a team, we're too honest. And I understand Moyes wants to play the right way. He doesn't want our team diving or gamesmanship. He said that in interviews. But sometimes you've just got to, when teams are doing it against you, you've got to try and use a bit of that and be a bit nasty. And sometimes I feel like we're too nice. But Nketiah, the problem is with Nketiah, he wants to be starting week in and week out for Arsenal. He's not going to do that for West Ham. So if he wants to start week in, week out for Arsenal, he's not going to come to West Ham and be the second choice. Because if he was,
that's a great point. That is a great point.
That's the thing. We signed him, and that was like, that's it. You're just trying to Nketiah. He's the main man. I'd be fuming.
I get that. I get that. I think Eddie's going to have to go down a level if he wants to play first team football. That's for sure. Before I come to Kevin Lee, let's round up. Lawless, let's come to you, man. This top 4 race is mental. I know you probably don't care who gets it, but who do you think's going to get it in the next 4 games, man? Where's your head at with Arsenal and Spurs, mate?
Do you know what? I wish there was a way, right how I feel right now, I wish there was a way you both couldn't bloody get it. But I think a lot of people are looking at that next game and looking at Leeds as 3 points. Got that in the bag. And I just don't think that's the case. And I'm looking at that game and seeing that's a potential banana skin for Arsenal. I think you could potentially slip up there. I watched Leeds play against Man City. The scoreline did not reflect the game at all.
No, I agree with that.
It looked very, very good. I really fan of what Jesse Marsh has come in and done. And, I think they can really give you guys a lot of problems. Attacking wise, I think they can create more chances and cut you open more than we could. We can't break teams down. They'll keep coming at you. They will leave space at the back. But if you ain't got your finishing boots on, like Nketiah had, I think it's, like I said, I've said this for a while, it's going to come down to that North London derby, and which is sticky for Arsenal, because I can't see Arsenal winning that at White Hart Lane. So I can't call it, but at the moment, you're in the driving seat. You have to say that. But it's going to be, the story's not written, is it yet? You don't know what way it's going to turn. Spurs, the way Spurs play, they're built to play Liverpool's and the Man City's, the way they're set up. So I would not be surprised to see him get something there. It's going to be interesting. I don't think you'll have that, what you wanted, the 5-point lead going into the North London derby. So, but at the moment, you're in the driving seat for sure. We'll see how it turns out. But I can't pick one. I'm still too angry at Arsenal.
By the sounds of things, you're going for Spurs, mate.
Yeah.
By the sounds of things, you're going for them. Yeah, Leeds are going to cause us a problem at the Emirates, and Liverpool going up to Anfield look like they're going to get something. He's gone for Spurs.
Yeah. And also, like someone just said in the chat, you know all about Leeds because they was the last team to beat West Ham at West Ham. Apart from when the Arsenal come down there, like, you know what I mean? So, like, you know, so we know a little bit about Leeds.
Do you know what? If it all happens, we'll be coming back to this moment, won't we? Be like, oh my God, he was right. He was right all along. But are you not worried about Leeds? You've got to be worried.
Yeah, I think
Worried
Leeds
about
will be
every game, mate.
Yeah, I'm worried about every
game. Lawless. We're not saying we're not, but we're at home. We got to fancy ourselves. We've got to. This could be
you at home. Was it Southampton or Brighton?
Brighton, and then they beat Spurs at their gaff of the week after.
But then also, you can't predict any results. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. You can't.
Everton looked like they was going to be going out of it. Like, you know, everybody was saying Everton going to get relegated. Like, they go and get put in a performance against Chelsea and beat them. You know, you can't predict any game at the moment. Like, you know, at the end of it, like, you know, like there's been a big shock tonight. Like Brentford have lost to Man United. Like, it's, you know, you just can't. You know, it's just anything can happen in football. Like
Massive upset.
I like that, judges.
You joke, but I was shocked by that. I expected Brentford to win.
Yeah, the way Man United were playing, never knew.
We've been very fortunate. We've picked up 3 fantastic wins. You know what I mean? Like Chelsea, Man United, and yesterday as well. 3 very, very good wins. 9 points against 3 very, very good sides. But the biggest bonus of all is that Tottenham dropping 5 against Brighton and Brentford as well. On top of that, has put us in, because realistically they shouldn't have dropped those points, and we should have been like going into these games 2 points behind. I think, I don't know if everybody feels about it. Like, I think next weekend is pivotal. If Liverpool do the business against Tottenham, and then we do the business against Leeds, I think that we've got 1 foot in the top 4 going to that Tottenham game. You know, the pressure will be.
Out, haven't we?
Do you know what? As well,
Exactly.
I watched Match of the Day 2 last night, Kevin. I was with Troy Deeney. Like, they were all saying, "Oh, the North London derby," and then they got Burnley. That's going to be hard. Arsenal got Everton, and Troy Deeney just said, "I think it's this weekend. It's going to be the big one, Leeds and Liverpool." And I was spot on with him. Like, how do you think it's going to play out, Kev?
Yeah, for me, I think this weekend's going to tell us a lot about what we need to do in that North London derby. I think that's going to dictate. Not necessarily personnel, because I think we're so thin on the ground with personnel. We probably know what the team's going to be at the start of the week, but how we approach it. One thing we do know, if we are 5 points clear or 3 points clear, let's say we're 3 points clear. As long as we don't lose, we've got to fancy our chances going with 2 games left. We've got to.
Yeah.
We've got to. But if we beat them, we knock them out. We knock them out. So, again, this is the conundrum that this weekend's going to throw up.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's about time we were involved in the shake-up come the end of the season. You know, especially after the last few years. We haven't been involved in it. So, it's great that we're here.
You got Newcastle, which is going to be tough. Newcastle away, and then Everton. How are you going to feel? Imagine it could be either get Arsenal top 4, or Everton goes down, or survival. That's going to be mad.
Well, I've said it before. I think Arsenal will beat Everton at the Emirates. I really believe Arsenal will beat Everton at the Emirates. I think Everton's business has to go on before then. They've got Leicester and I think Leicester and Watford. The next 2 away games. Everton haven't won an away game since August.
No way.
That tells you everything. And you know what? Law of averages says they're going to come good at the right time now. You know, because it's, what is it? I think they've got 3 away games left. So they've got to do something. They have to, especially after beating Man United at home, drawing with Leicester, and then beating Chelsea. Yeah, I think they've got.
Oh,
I think they've got
unbelievable.
10 points out of the last 12 at home.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be. I hope for their sake, and I know you'll hope this as well, that things are wrapped up by them. But it could go. Everything could go down
could go
to
to
the
the
last
last.
game in terms of relegation and top four because it's that close. There's so many ups and downs. Of course, people will. If you got a neutral, not Dan Lawless because he hates Arsenal at the moment. But if you got a neutral and you said, "What do you reckon's going to happen this weekend?" They'd say, "I think Arsenal beat Leeds and I think Liverpool beat Spurs, and Arsenal will go 5 points." Clear into the North London derby, but who's to say that is going to happen? Because you can't predict this anymore. It's
No.
just madness this season. Judges, let's let you have the last say before we come to a close. As I say, on paper, which football doesn't work on, we have got the easier fixture. Leeds, they have got the harder fixtures in Tottenham, Liverpool. How confident are you on Arsenal doing their job? Because I don't care about Spurs at the moment. Let's just concentrate on us. How confident are you that we can go on this nice little run now? 4 games left.
I'll be very, very confident if Liverpool do the business against Tottenham. I think if that happens, I think Arsenal will that'll take a little bit of pressure off. I'm going to be honest. I think Tottenham put the pressure on us yesterday. I think they put the pressure on with that game yesterday.
Massive.
And I felt it as a fan, and I think the players would have felt it. It tightened you up a little bit, if you know what I mean. I don't watch Spurs when they play when I think they're going to lose, when they're going to win. But I only watch them when I think they're going to lose. So I'll be watching this game. And I've actually, my mate Ashley, thank you, Ashley, has given me a Liverpool shirt, what I mean. So I'm not going to put it on. I'm just going to put it on the side of me,
Have it close.
Have it close, you know what I mean? But I desperately wishing Liverpool win this game. This Liverpool game, I'm feeling that I'm going to be supporting them as much as I supported them in the Champions League final. This is how big a game this is for us because this got repercussions on us. But listen, I honestly, going back, I think we won. I don't know who was playing. And Tottenham were playing Man City at the 5:30 kickoff. I thought, Man City are going to win that game, and Tottenham went and won that game, and that put shockwaves through me. So I'm not going to take anything for granted in this game. People saying, "Oh, Liverpool win this." If Liverpool don't win it, then they've just handed the title to Manchester City. But Liverpool look a real decent side at the moment. But the one thing that does worry me about Liverpool is that they do play a very, very high line, and if there's a team that can expose that is Tottenham. But ultimately, Liverpool, if they play like they can do, then it's 3 points, and that will take the pressure off us going into that game against Leeds. So if we can go to White Hart Lane, 5 points clear, you know what I mean, with 3 games left and playing them, you know what I mean. Come on, it's set up nicely.
The pressure's on them.
Yeah, the pressure's on them. Yeah, exactly. The pressure is all on them then, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
100%.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
100%. To wrap up, we've all got a gun to our head. We've all got to say one team who's going to come fourth. I will start. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say that Arsenal are going to do it and get 4th place. KC.
Arsenal, come on.
You going for it. Judges.
Yeah, I think that we've been fortunate with the 3 wins, but Spurs dropping points as well. And I think that Sunday was a massive win. I've got to say, massive 3 points. That was a tough game, you know what I mean, for us, and we got through it, And yeah, so if you want to put my gun to my head, Rangers for the Europa League. There you go.
Wicked. Well, listen, he'll probably get his own back now. Lawless got a gun to your head, man. Who are you going for? Arsenal or Spurs for 4th?
Well, I've just seen it's mathematically possible for West Ham to get it. So, Man United. Arsenal and Spurs to lose the rest of their games. Well, except the ones against each other. Get draw in that one. Man United, Ronaldo goes on a madness and Man United get top 4. And could you imagine it? That would be hilarious. I know you wouldn't see the funny side, but
I don't think it would for us.
Not going to happen.
Oh, but this is the thing. I don't know, man. I just think it's going to be a mad one. Like I said, I literally cannot predict it. It seems on paper you've got the easier run, all of that. Arsenal don't do things the easy way.
No, that's true.
Palace, Brighton, Southampton. We look at them games and we
Imagine if we
remember
would have won
those.
them now. Christ. Oh,
You'd
can't
be,
look
you'd
bad
be
like
looking
that,
at
can you?
Chelsea. You'd be looking at third.
Well, we would be third. We would be third
Yeah,
if we
we'd
would have
be
won
third,
those.
yeah.
So,
I
but
know.
anyway, we can't look about that. Lawless, I'm not letting you get away with it, man. You got to give me a name.
I'll try Arsenal. I'll say Arsenal.
Oh, he said it. There we go. He said it.
There
Arsenal.
you go.
He's
You got it out of me.
hesitantly said it, but you said it at least, mate.
Reluctantly, yeah.
With a gun to my head.
There we go, man. There we go. In all seriousness, Lawless, legend for coming on, man. I know it's always hard when you've lost, and when I invited you on, I thought it would be good for you to have a bit of a say about not just Arsenal, but obviously things of West Ham. In all seriousness, I wish you the best of luck on Thursday night, mate. That's the one you always want, and that'll be a massive, massive win if you get that one, mate. So, how can people follow you, bro?
Yeah, no, of course. Thanks for having me on, mate. I always enjoy coming on this channel. Always a good laugh, and it's therapeutic as much as it was painful. So really enjoyed the chat, and you can find me at the Lawless on Twitter, West Ham Fan TV on all the social media. We'll have a watch along for Thursday, and so there will be lads out there in Frankfurt doing fan cams and things like that. So come and join us, and it's all on Thursday. Win
Enjoy it, mate.
Win or else.
Nah, in all seriousness, enjoy it, mate, because this is what these moments are all about, particularly for you boys. It's massive, massive night for you, so good luck, mate. KC, always a pleasure having you on, mate. Thank you so much, bro. Good to see you back on Lead Judges TV, and hopefully we'll see you for a preview show for the Leeds one soon as well. And Judges, always a pleasure, mate. Thanks to everybody for coming on. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to everybody for listening. Let's hope that this top four race continues for Arsenal and we can keep winning. Until then, we'll see you next time. Keep supporting the channel, like and subscribe, and up the Arsenal. Take care, guys.